Welcome to Gloria Deo Academy, raising lifelong worshipers, lifelong learners, and lifelong servants. Today, we're going to be meeting with Mr. Fesler, and he's going to be telling us about our school improvement plan. So welcome, Mr. Fesler. If you'd like to say hi and tell us a little bit about your role as head of school and how long you've been here.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. Robin, I've heard you put together some podcasts, and I'm just very thrilled about all that you're doing on our campus and how you're doing it. And it's just a privilege to be able to speak to our families and to you about the strategic plan. This is going into my 6th year as head of school here, and pretty excited about what's happening and how God's doing some amazing things on campus.
So not everyone is going to know what a school improvement plan is. Do you mind first explaining to our parents and the community what is a school improvement plan?
Yeah, so most schools have school improvement plans, and what it is it is a list of action items that help set an intentional course for a school to help achieve a greater value proposition for everybody involved. It helps with school effectiveness, and it really guides leadership and makes sure that what we're doing is staying closely associated with our vision, our mission of the school, and keeps us on track for that year. And at the end of each year, we should see how the school has become a better school for our students throughout that school year.
Okay, and this is the first year that we are introducing this and rolling this out to our parents and community. Mm-hmm. So why is this important for our parents to know and to be aware of?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In the past, we've had our school improvement plans. They've just been an internal document that we've used. We call them initiatives. And every department has an initiative, and they fulfill those initiatives throughout the school year. One of the reasons we want to give this to our families is because back in probably January, someone saw our school improvement plan internally and said, hey, that'd be really good if all families saw that. And so I said, hey, that's a great idea. We can put that out. So this year will be the first year we actually make it public to all of our families.
If you could pick 3 things you would want the GDA community to know from the school improvement plan, what would those 3 things be?
So the first thing that I think would be really important for families to understand is where the strategic plan comes from. Myself and the board come together and talk about the strategic initiatives 3 to 5 years out. We do that using all kinds of industry standards, surveys, and then once we have those 3 to 5 year goals, it becomes on my lap then to take to administration. And administration uses the parent surveys, faculty surveys, student surveys, administrative surveys. We collect all that data. We take demographics, we take perception data, we take academic data, programmatic data, and we look at all those things and say, what areas do we need to improve on? So it's important that if I could tell anything to the families, those surveys that you guys fill out really matter to us and help us determine what it looks like for the next year. The second thing I think I would want them to know about the strategic plan would be probably, well, let's just go over one thing that we're improving in each one of those areas. So let's just take academics first. Academics, you guys have probably already seen this in some of the updates. We have developed a Friday elective course. Kim Patnode has done a phenomenal job on our campus putting that together, making sure that it's robust and putting that out there. And so just academically, that's just one small item under our academic profile that we're improving for next year. Under finances, next year we're trying to develop more donors because sooner or later we're going to start a capital campaign to begin working on the pavilion, turning it into a gymnasium, as well as I need more donors to help us with capital projects around our campus. For our facilities, one of the things we really want to do, it sounds trite, but it's just the realities of life, is to create more restroom space on our campus. So we already have the plans for that going forward. It's going to be in the city's hands very quickly to give us permits on that. As far as culture goes, we're always, one of the major things that is always on my heart, if education is truly about spiritual formation, then is that really what's happening on our campus? So one of the initiatives that we have for this year is to determine, how do we know if spiritual formation is actually taking place with our students? And it doesn't mean that our students come in not knowing Christ and then knowing Christ. It's just a matter of, are we giving them everything that they need to understand the gospel fully? So culturally, one of our initiatives for next year is to figure out if that's really happening and how do we measure that under culture. Let's see, we did finances.
I think it's communication.
No, communication, yeah.
Yeah.
So under communication, well, you're sitting right here, and this is a beautiful thing. One of the things that we really want to do is make sure that under communication, we're communicating well with our families at home. We have a lot of internal communication that happens, but it doesn't often get to the families. And so what you're doing and how you're doing it and the role you're going to be filling next year plays a major part in that communication. So those are just some of the things that we have going on and under that. And then the third thing I would want families to understand about the strategic plan or school improvement plan, I'm sorry, is how hard the administrative team works to make those things come to life. We give them yearly initiatives, and they just spend the rest of their summer going into next year putting those things in place, working hard to create a better school every single year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the main three things, just to recap, are to know where the school improvement plan comes from, which is all the data that we collect from different areas, whether that's academic, through staff, through parents. We collect all this data. That's how we make this plan to guide our decisions moving forward. And then the next thing is a little bit from each of the five categories that we focus on and what that looks like in the immediate future planning. And then the last thing is just knowing the effort and commitment from the admin team that it takes to see it through and the hard work behind it.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that I often come across is different types of schools. There are some schools that will prep a student for a career. There are some schools who will prep them for college, and there are some schools that will prep them for life. We really want to prep our students for life. We want our students to be lifelong worshipers, lifelong learners, and lifelong servants. And in order to do that well, we really believe the gospel has to be front and center. So take all of the initiatives, all the school improvement plan, and it really boils down to how do we produce something here that shares the gospel with these kids on a daily basis.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing this with me. If parents want to know more or see the full school improvement plan, where can they get access to it?
That's a great question. We are working right now on putting it on our website, but it won't be available till July. We started this in January, and every month since January, we have been refining it, putting it into a marketable format. We are going to roll it out in July. It'll come out in the newsletter, and then hopefully we'll be able to post it for limited access on our website.
Okay, so we'll look for it in the July Summer Scoop and then limited access on the website soon after that.
Correct.
Okay. Last thing I want to ask, what are you most excited about for the future of GDA?
You know, there are a number of things that I could talk about that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
The board has gone through an immense amount of training and they work so diligently to becoming a strategic board that it's a beautiful thing. The admin team works really hard, but I think the thing I'm most excited about is the level of quality faculty that we have that are committed to the mission and vision of the school, training the whole child. I'm blown away every year how we are getting superior teachers who love God, who love their students, and who love their content. We hire teachers based on whether they themselves are lifelong worshipers, learners, and servants. And I just think every year God has provided, just in a very humble way, the best people we could possibly find. And when I hear our students talk about our teachers, I'm blown away at how great they really are. And so I look forward to seeing the fruit of all of their labor.
Well, thank you for coming on here today and getting to share with our families all the good things that are happening at school.
Great. Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening. Hope everyone's having a great summer and look forward to being back in August. In the meantime, keep pursuing truth, goodness, and beauty. Thanks, y'all.